Roller coasters. You know, those big chunks of twisted steel
or wood
that you get strapped to and hurtled around at tens of hundreds of kilometers per hour. Yeah, those things? These things? Yeah? Totally not terrifying, right? Right, I know what you're thinking.
Izzy, why are you saying the roller coasters are terrifying when you're literally a roller coaster enthusiast?
Well, believe it or not, dear viewer, I have been scared of roller coasters my whole life. As someone who never grew up going to theme parks simply because, well, we couldn't afford to, I never really gained an interest in rides from a young age like most enthusiasts have. When the local fun fairs came around, my friends would always flock to the biggest, craziest rides, and I would just, you know, hold the bags. I was a designated bag holder. I'm sure everyone who refuses to go on rides has been labelled the designated bag holder before. Lots of people who bag hold, though, don't really mind this role, as they don't really feel like they're missing out on these big crazy rides. But me, I felt like I was missing out on something. Yet I also didn't want to go on these really terrifying rides. That was until my first big roller coaster. I say big in quotation marks because it's not really a thrilling roller coaster, but it was significant to me, okay? It was significant to me. This started on a school trip in year 7 to Alton Towers. And I know every single enthusiast is cringing at hearing year 7, school trip, and Alton Towers in the same sentence. Now, going on a school trip to a theme park with a bunch of children the same age as you, everyone trying to impress each other, it always comes hand in hand with peer pressure. Kids will peer pressure their peers into going on the biggest, scariest rides. But did I care about the peer pressure? Nope. I made it very, very clear that I did not want to go on these rides. I had wanted nothing to do with these rides. I was happy to be the bag holder this day. I will be completely honest with you. But I paid £30 to be there. And to pay £30 to just stand around and hold the bags, I know that's very stupid, but I really didn't want to start off the day with a really intense ride. You know, because I have never done an intense roller coaster before. But either way, we started to head down to xxxxxx. And oh my god, you can hear it before you see it. We're going on this ride. The Smiler? You really think I'm going on the Smiler as my first roller coaster? Are you having a Yeah, I kind of freaked out. There was no chance I was about to go on the Smiler as my first roller coaster. There was just no way. Now, before anyone says, was I scared of this roller coaster because of a certain event that happened on this ride? No, I wasn't. I actually did my research before coming to this park because I am riddled with anxiety. So after my little crash out about the Smiler, I decided I was going to go do a tamer ride instead. And that, of course, was the Intamin multi-dimensional coaster that I definitely signed a waiver for. I'm of course talking about 13. Right. Ugh. I know it's not a big coaster, guys. Don't bully me, please. Like I said, before I came to this park, I already did my research on the different rides, the basic history of the park, the basic layout of the park. I knew what 13 did, but did that make me any less scared of it? Absolutely not. No, I was still terrified. But do you know what else I was dreading? The queues! Why did I wait almost 4 hours for this goddamn ride? I'm not even being dramatic. Look at this. 150 minutes. That's insane. So after waiting what felt like an eternity, we finally got to the station. And if there was one more thing that couldn't add to the anxiety that was already brewing in my chest. Row on, please. Are you kidding? Right, I know most people would be excited to get the front row for their first ride. I wanted quite the opposite, but it was too late. So I took my seat and pulled down my lap bar, and the creepy 13 girl whispered in my ear hole, and bish bash bosh, off we go. And after we turned that first corner, I looked up at that lift hill, and I thought, holy shit, that is a lot taller than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be like nothing, but it's like 60 foot tall. And for someone who has only ever been on a caterpillar coaster, that was tall! So we crested over the drop. Yeah, I was one of those kids who screamed around the whole ride. But was I probably being a bit dramatic? Yes, because this coaster barely did anything. The only part that really blew me away was the drop section of the track indoors and the backwards section. I didn't know it went backwards. That part impressed me. But the rest of it, I found it mediocre, even as somebody who had never really been on a big coaster before. Maybe it was because I waited 4 hours in the queue and my anxiety wore off and I was just bored at that point. So yeah, I did 13. Thought, oh, I could probably do another coaster. Went over, took one glance at Nemesis. Yeah, absolutely not. I'll just buy this slushie instead. So after that trip, I didn't go to any of the other theme park trips with school. That was until I was in year 9. We went to Blackpool Pleasure Beach Resort, Pleasure Beach Lancashire, Pleasure Beach Lancashire Resort, Blackpool South Shore. Yeah, that one. So this was my second time actually ever visiting Pleasure Beach in my whole life. I did come here with my childhood friend when we were younger, but I didn't really go on any of the rides. The only rides that I did remember doing that day was the flying machines and... So yeah, this was like my first real time coming to Pleasure Beach. Even though it was a school trip, it wasn't too busy. And we got on loads of rides and it was a really good day and we had lots of fun. But there was one ride that I was dreading the whole day. And you can't really ignore it because look how big it is. Oh my god. Was then the UK's tallest roller coaster. The big one. Yeah, such a creative name, Pleasure Beach. And I stood there staring up at this colossal beast of a coaster. Ain't no way you're getting me on that! Well, I kind of had no choice. I was forced onto this ride out of my own will. Oh god. Leaving that station, I felt like a lamb being sent to the slaughter. I didn't even know what to think, I didn't even know what to do. My heart was racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour. What the hell was happening? So I had the genius idea of just closing my eyes. Close your eyes and it'll disappear. But I didn't close my eyes, did I? I decided to open my eyes while we are at 200 foot in the air. Yeah, this seems a lot bigger than 13. And with no spare time left to think, we were cresting that disgustingly high lift hill, staring down at our fate that we could not avoid. And before I could get a final thought in... Oh, was that it? So you're telling me after all these years of staring up at this coaster, that was it? That was what I was scared of? After experiencing the big one, there was like something that clicked in my mind. Something that said, I'm not scared of roller coasters. I enjoyed that experience, albeit rough, yes, but I enjoyed it. That was fun. I would do that again. And that's basically how I became a roller coaster enjoyer. That's the starting point. Now, although I got over this initial hurdle of tall, fast rides, the fear didn't go away instantly. It's actually took me years to get to this point of not being afraid of roller coasters anymore. This doesn't just happen after one trip to a theme park. Like, I've been a roller coaster enthusiast now for 6 years. Which might not seem like a lot to some enthusiasts, because I know a lot of you have been enthusiasts since you were a kid. However, if you told me 6 years ago that I would be obsessing over roller coasters, that I would be going to theme parks near enough every other week, that I would be turning this into a hobby, I would have never believed you. This is a hobby that has really taken over my life in many aspects. Like, I do theme park photography. I do a lot of art related to theme parks. It's stuck in my brain. And this really goes to show that if you try new things that you're scared to do, you might enjoy it. It might change your life, literally. I think what I'm trying to say is that a lot of people have a fear of roller coasters, but also a lot of people want to get over that fear of roller coasters. The most simple piece of advice that I can give you from my own experience to anyone who is considering conquering this fear is to just do it! Just give it a go. you might like it. The only thing that's stopping you sitting on that ride is yourself. And worst comes to worst, it's a short-lived experience. If you really dislike it, you never have to go on that ride again. But at least you can say, hey, I did that. But there's also that chance that you love this roller coaster and it changes your outlook on them. And the better news is that you never have to be the bag hoarder.